the United Auto Workers strike against Detroit's big three auto companies enters its fourth day. Negotiations with Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis resumed on Saturday. Nearly 13,000 employees at three plants in Missouri, Michigan, and Ohio walked off the job at midnight on Friday when their four-year contracts expired. The union is demanding up to 40% wage hikes, 40% over 4 years, along with shorter work weeks and better benefits. Union officials say since negotiations resumed, they have, quote, reasonably productive talks with Ford and plan to meet with GM as well. Both of those companies, along with Stellantis, have offered 20% pay raises. The union, however, has rejected that. Now the White House is stepping in to help. President Biden dispatched a team to support talks between the union and the automakers. Biden spoke about the issue on Friday, saying he understands the workers' frustrations.
I've been in touch with both parties since this began over the last few weeks and over the past decade. Auto companies have seen record profits, including the last few years, because of the extraordinary skill and sacrifices of the UAW workers. But those record profits have not been shared fairly, in my view, with those workers. Let's be clear. No one wants a strike. Say it again. No one wants a strike. But I respect workers' right to use their options under the collective bargaining system. And I understand the workers' frustration. Over generations, auto workers sacrificed so much to keep the industry alive and strong, especially through the economic crisis and the pandemic. Workers deserve a fair share of the benefits they help create for an enterprise.
All right. With us now from outside the Stellantis plant in Toledo, Ohio, CBC auto and airline industry reporter Phil LeBeau. Phil, thank you so much for being with us. So the companies offered a 20% pay increase, and the union said not enough. Are we getting close?
I don't think we're close. I think that this goes for a while. And here's the reason why. It's not just the fact that the UAW wants 40% over 4.5 years, and then you've got Ford and Stellantis at 21%, GM at 20%. That's going to end up being somewhere closer to 25, 26%. At least that's the prediction of most people who are close to the talks. There are a lot of other issues here. 32-hour work week. That's a no-go with the automakers. I mean, from their perspective, let's say you give these guys, or you ultimately agree to 25% over 4.5 years, and then you're going to give them a 32-hour work week. That's essentially, in the eyes of the automakers, another 20% raise. So that's a no-go in their opinion. The restoration of a defined benefit pension is something that they're hesitant to do. That was stripped out when you had the bankruptcies of GM and Chrysler, and you had to work on the finances of the company coming back, in 2009, 2010. They also would like cost of living adjustments. Now, that is an area where I think that the UAW will get movement from the automakers. They used to have COLAs in the previous contracts all the way up through 2009, got stripped out. And in the last 2 years, if you talk with the people who are behind me picketing, they'll tell you inflation has killed our paycheck. We need more of an adjustment, a cost of living adjustment, some type of an inflation adjustment in this contract. So still a number of issues there. It's not just about pay.
So you're saying, though, as far as pay goes, they want a 40% increase in their pay. They want to cut from 40 hours a week to 32 hours a week. That's another 20% pay increase in the automakers' mind. So you're basically saying the automakers are looking at this as a 60% increase in these workers' pay. Do they just think they can't afford that?
They can't go all the way to where the UAW wants them to be. In their minds, that's too far. There is a limit. We heard from Ford CEO Jim Farley last week. He said there is a limit. Now, he didn't say what the limit was, but there is a point where they believe they can't go any further. The interesting thing to keep in mind here is that not only do the automakers have to think about, okay, what do we need to do to lock in a contract? But remember, they already, all in, with wages and benefits, the average UAW worker makes between $64 and $66 an hour. Compare that with foreign automakers in this country. Their line workers make about $55 an hour. Then compare that with Tesla line workers, who make an estimated $45 an hour. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out if you are the CEO of GM. You're paying these guys $66 an hour. Your chief competitor in terms of electric vehicles, Tesla, is at 45. I mean, that's a gap that's going to widen after this contract.
CNBC auto and airline industry reporter Phil LeBeau, thank you so much for being on. We will talk to you again soon.